I just really hope Lionel gets it very soon. He's an annoying man, and oh my god, he's so annoying. I don't know. He cockblocked his son from Tori. Hello friends, my name is Alexa and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about the third book in the Zodiac Academy series called The Reckoning by Caroline Peckham and Suzanne Valenti. Also, I noticed that this book is the color blue, and it's also Lance's zodiac sign. If you know, you know. I will be going into like all the other books I've been doing. I will be going into what exactly happened in this book, and then which will have spoilers. So if you want to avoid spoilers, I will leave a little timestamp in the description that will talk about my rating and my overall thoughts of this book. With that said, let's get started. This book also leaves off of where like the previous book leaves off at. So it's basically, it starts off with Lance's POV of like the aftermath of the nymph attack at the Pitball Stadium. A lot of people died. I think like maybe 2 or 3 people died from the team they were up against, and then I think 3 or 2 people, I can't really remember, but a lot of people died, or like not a lot of people, but some people died from Zodiac Academy, including a member of Seth's pack. And then after that, it's kind of, we go back to Lance's classroom after they have this like assembly that Principal Nova hosts, saying that there'll be more heightened security and there's a curfew now in place. So and then while Orion was watching, he was mostly watching Darcy, but also listening in on what Principal Nova was saying, but he was also getting a little pissed off because Diego was touching Darcy. And then I think it's the next day, or at least a couple of days later, where the freshmen start their reckoning trials, which is also the start of Hell Week, where all the other students, like the sophomores, juniors, seniors, will mess with the freshmen, basically making their life miserable, kind of like senior pranks, kind of, but worse. And then in the classroom, I think someone mentions that Tori throat punched Max, which is Lance was pretty happy about that. He's like, wow, damn. And also Lance's beef with Diego is funny as hell. I think he took his beanie and is just like keeps messing with him. To me, Lance seems like, even though he hates Diego, the kind of relationship is kind of like how an older sibling will mess with like the younger one, but yeah, anyway. And then later on, Darius plans, while Tori is seeing Caleb, Darius plans like this little date with Tori, to like go race bikes with her. He is also in this competition with Caleb to like gain Tori's, like, wants to be with Tori basically. He doesn't like Caleb with Tori at all. And then I really like Darcy and Lance's yearning for each other. They both have my heart, like Jude and Cardin did. This whole series is really, I'll get into it, but I really like the series. Also, their sparring with each other was cool, and I look forward to seeing Lance and Darcy's chapters as well as Tori and Darius's chapters. And then Seth kind of starts to feel bad for what he did to Darcy, and he just basically wants to make it up to her. He also wants to make her a part of his pack, which she wants no part of whatsoever. So they kind of compromise with each other. And then Max is also trying to, like, I don't want to say like say sorry, but she's trying to like be nice to Tori. So he like helps Tori breathe underwater to get ready for her trials that she's being tested on, like with the elemental magic before the main trial, which is the reckoning. And also I think Max kind of secretly ships Tori and Darcy together. Or, whoa, not Tori and Darcy, Tori and Darius together, and instead of like Caleb and Tori. And then also Tyler has a crush on Sophia, and so he kind of he asks for Tori and Darcy's help to like with getting with Sophia, but Diego also likes Sophia, so it's like competition between the two of them. But however, Tori and Darcy think it's very good that Diego has some competition. If he really loves Sophia, then he will, you know, be with Sophia instead of Tyler, but kind of like fight for Sophia's love in a way. And then also while they were going to, I think, their Earth lesson, there was this little like funny moment with Seth and Caleb singing Backstreet Boys, I Want It That Way, in the cave to get to their Earth lesson. And then Lance is also asking like Darcy sometimes that, oh, well, what color are you gonna dye your hair? Because her hair is not blue at the moment. She just regrow her hair. She didn't know, like Lance wants to know what color is she gonna dye it. And then Darcy's basically, well, why does the color matter to you? Because, and then he basically says, and to me, blue means you, which I thought was really cute. And then once Seth and Darcy have like this moment together, he sends like Darcy this video that basically embarrasses himself because he wants to basically say I'm sorry, but he also wants to bring her into his pack, but she doesn't want to like basically like do things with Seth if you catch my drift, but because that's like the only way he can like dominate her. I don't like that word, but you have to so he like compromises and basically like shows her this video, and they go on like a little run. Well, he goes on a run and she like rides on top of him when he's in his wolf form, and they have this little discussion about Seth's life and how he grew up, and Darcy like feels very bad, and yeah. And then Tori like has this little like drinking competition with like her friends. Diego is also at the scene of the crime because every time there's alcohol involved, stuff goes wrong. I don't know what the heck is going on. But Tori loses control of her magic, and so Darius kind of comes into the orb, which is like basically the cafeteria lounge area, and like takes her back to his room. And also Sophia is cautious because she thinks that Darius might do something to Tori while she's inebriated, and which Darius says, no, I'm not going to do something like that when she's like that. I'm just watching out for her to make sure she doesn't lose control of her magic, yada yada yada. And also like kind of helps her with the nightmare she's having. And while he's taking care of drunk Tori, he's realizing his feelings for her, and that once Tori, like I think the next day when Tori wakes up with cuddling next to Darius, she freaks out a little bit and also gets really mad at him, and Darius is kind of hurt, but at the same time I understand because he needs to hear those words that Tori is saying to him. He needs to know that he hurt her. And also Darcy and Lance, when they're back in the classroom, like later on, they're yearning in tension again while they're learning about like, can't remember what they're learning about. I think it might be the whole pregnancy protection thing. I don't remember, but anyway, when Tori's like hungover and Lance is kind of messing with her, like with yelling in her face and all that, again, like very like brotherly actions, like older brother actions, you know. I also found Caleb and Tori's relationship to be meh, and I'll get into that later on, because while I think it's not really my favorite thing between the two of them. And then when it comes to Darius's and Tori's date, when Tori is meeting with Xavier and they're having this lovely conversation alone while Darius is like getting ready or like bringing something or like snacks or something. I don't remember what he was doing, but I don't know, the whole friendship and the whole scene with the two of them while Tori is basically letting Xavier have fun, and Xavier's freaking out because he's turning into a Pegasus and he's like embarrassed, but Tori's like completely in awe. She loves it. She thinks that Xavier is beautiful and that he should be accepted for who he is. And I just like how the way it's written. It's very, I almost teared up with that. This poor boy does not deserve how he's being treated at home by his dad, and I think he really needed someone to accept who he is, and Tori is very sweet for doing that. And then when Darcy and Lance are having this conversation, she basically runs to where the faculty live, and she like knocks on the door. Like it's basically like a split decision, you know, you're not really thinking rationally about it, and then when she hesitates a little bit because she knows what she's doing might lead into something a little more. But she knocks on Lance's door and she basically tells him that she's gonna dye her hair blue. And so Lance lets her inside and things progress from there. And of course, for their first time together, he asks her, is this something you want to do? You can leave. You know what I mean? While they're like kissing. And then they progress to the bedroom, and then he asks her, are you sure you want to go through with this? You can leave. We can just move on. We can just forget all about that. And of course, Darcy wants to continue on with their first time sleeping together. And yeah, basically, which I commend Lance for asking consent. I love when characters ask for consent to their potential love interest when doing that kind of stuff. And also, I wrote down that Darius is petty as hell because he took a selfie with Tori while they were out on their date, and sent it to Caleb, and then Caleb's like calling like, are you really on this date with Darius? And I just thought the whole bicycle racing was pretty fun, and like, I don't know, it was like real cute. And then I think when Lance and Darius are together, they're like using dark magic to see into the past, or like see stuff that happened before, and like they see Lionel and Stella, I'm not even gonna get into it. They're just doing something in his like office or something, and they're like talking about sacrificing Xavier on the lunar eclipse. He's gonna do something like he did to Lance's sister, Clara. And then Tori, Darcy, and Diego pass their air trial together. Tori and Darcy help Diego because his magic is a little weaker than Tori and Darcy's, so they help him, and they all pass. I also see potential in like Max and Geraldine possibly getting together. I think that would be really cute too. And also Tori shot Caleb down because she's not interested. Like, she lies to herself, but I have a feeling she's not very interested in Caleb. She just like they're fun together, but they're not what she needs, if that makes sense. Or he's not what she needs. Oh boy. Oh, and then Milton and Tori become friends. Tori feels kind of bad that he's now seen as the outcast because Darius thinks that Milton was the one who burned his room and like took his like jewels and other precious commodities. Which Darius is actually pissed off that Tori is allowing Milton to become friends with her and other people because he wants him to be shunned. And then they do another thing again in like this cave, Lance and Darius, and they find out that Lionel is working with Diego's uncle, and so they're a little suspicious about that. And then Darcy and Tori find them in the cave on the beach, and Tori is like cutting herself with Darius's draining dagger, I believe it's called, and she nearly dies. And then while Lance is trying to save her, basically Darius like says to Tori, "I'll follow you into the shadows if I have to and drag you away from them, kicking and screaming, because they can't have you. They fucking can't." And I thought that was like, well, that solidifies your guys' relationship, doesn't it? And then I said, a personal note, like Seth is getting better. He's protective of Darcy, which he kind of is, because they find out that Tori and Darcy are the ones that were pulling the pranks on them in the previous book, and they're kind of pissed off. Also, Darcy is pissed that Lance doesn't care that Tori almost died, like, and all that. And then, but Lance wants Darcy to get info from Diego about his uncle. Tori and Darcy pass their water trial, which is really good. Also, I kind of think that when Darius found out that Tori and Darcy were the ones to prank him and the other heirs, he was kind of impressed with the pranking. And they're also plotting to get back at them. Like, to me, it seemed like they were kind of rubbing their hands together like flies, like they coming up with a plan. Oh, and also I wrote down like another note, like Diego and alcohol at the scene of the crime with like Sophia and Tori. The incident with Sophia in the first book, and then the incident with Tori in this book. I don't know, seems a little weird. Also, Tori and Darcy beat the Hare's like Hell Week prank, the 9 circles of hell. And they also beat them in like a match or something by using their powers together. And then Tori and Darcy and Sophia pass the fire trial. Tori and Darcy end up being immune to fire, which is suspicious of Darius. Oh, there's also the fact that Lance and the others think that Tori and Darcy's order might be a dragon, and they're kind of hopeful that they are a dragon, that they're gonna be bigger than Darius and Lionel. Let's see. Oh, and then when Darcy goes back to her room, she sees Seth in her room, and she's like panicking because she thinks that Seth might have found out that she was the one who gave him the fleas with the little like spell, or like the moonstone, I think. But still he is like protective of Darcy and that he can't hurt her. Also, the Fib, which is basically like federal agents for like the Fae, they captured a nymph, so they like send for the heir's parents and also the heirs themselves. The heir's parents are interrogating it, and then Lionel kills it while trying to get info from it, but I'm a little suspicious of that because it seems like he might be protecting himself, but I could be wrong. I don't know. I think would you want information out of something like your enemy, you wouldn't want to kill them all the way without getting info. Also, Tori and Darcy pass their Earth trial, and then they go to like, after all that, they go to this carnival. Darcy goes with Diego. Tori was supposed to meet up with them with Caleb, but Caleb was like late or something. I also didn't like the Caleb, Tori and Darcy, the incident with Caleb and Tori in his car. I did not like that at all, just because you're a little pissed off, but she did the whole Pegasus thing. I don't know. To be honest, I would say that I'm just gonna go to the carnival by myself. You can just drop me off. I want nothing to do with you, to be honest with you. Or just take me back to my dorm. I want to be left alone. Oh, I also said that I'm glad the Caleb and Tori car thing didn't turn out the way I thought. I was scared for Tori because Tori is afraid of cars and being locked in them because she almost drowned with a previous relationship who just left her in the damn car. But I think, yeah. Also, when Lance was trying to come up with an idea to apologize to Darcy, honestly, I don't think he needed to do all that, man. He didn't need to electrocute himself. Just say, I'm sorry. Just a simple apology would be nice. But also the Ferrari scene was spicy. Also, I don't know how the hell they can do all that in the Ferrari, because I think Ferrari not that big. I mean, wouldn't you be slamming in your knees, slamming into the door? Maybe set your seat back a little bit, if there's room back there. Also, when Tori and Caleb are at the carnival, Tori basically says, like, to Caleb's face, I believe she says, she wants someone to challenge her, to like push her back. To me, I think she means Caleb, and that I'm not Caleb. She means Darius. And also, to me, Caleb like tries too hard, in which she says that he like tries way too hard to get her approval. Also, I think Caleb was trying too hard with the whole haunted house experience, because he basically did that when Tori said, I want to have like someone to give me a thrill, and I don't know. Also, while they're doing the whole reckoning thing, they find out that someone from Solaria killed Tori and Darcy's mortal parents. They don't know who though. I don't know who. But they also passed the reckoning with Sophia, Tyler, and Diego. And also like their school bullies, I think. Also, I said that Tori likes Darius because he doesn't pretend with her, in which he doesn't. He like tells her straight up that I do. He tells her things like straight up and all that. And also Darius vowed to make Tori his. That was all during the lunar eclipse, which is like making you a little horny. And then Max tried to have sex with Geraldine. Also, Tori and Darcy's order form is about to emerge, and so when Lance and Darcy are about to go back to her dorm to have sex, he like massages her shoulder blades, and then she like gets like it feels good to her, and then he's like, well, oh, your orders having to do something with flying. And he also admits that he does that with Darius. Also, when Lance and Darcy are done and they are walking back, Seth, I think, catches them, but he's like drunk, so he doesn't know what the hell is, why Darcy is with Lance. And also, Seth got rejected by Darcy because I think Seth's like feeling things for Darcy during the lunar eclipse, and he also breaks up with his girlfriend. Also on page like 6110, Tori asks why. She's basically asking Darius after he said that he was watching her, and Darius says, because that's what I do. He said slowly, I watch you and I hunger for you and I ache for you. It torments me like I torment you. And then on page 613, Darius says, there are countless people who would say I'm not allowed to want you. Darius breathed. But you make me want to burn the whole world down, so that I can claim you for my own. And then Tori says, then we should burn it down. Tori agreed. And I thought that was but sadly they get interrupted by, oh, you guessed it, Lionel comes out of nowhere and takes them somewhere. I just want this nasty ass man to fuck off. The same with Stella. Like, hello, go away. They're like doing some weird cultish ceremony. I don't know what the hell is going on. But when Tori is like saying nasty things to Lionel, he punched Tori so hard that he shattered her cheekbone. And it's like, what the hell? That's what gets him off? And I said, violence? And then I said, like, what the fuck? Then he grabs her hair to hear her scream. Like, what the fuck is wrong with this man? And then they get sacrificed, quote-unquote, sacrificed to the shadows. But then, like, their order emerges as phoenixes. But Lionel thinks they're like fire harpies and all that nonsense. But now Lionel can wield the element of shadows and all those who are present. And he also threatens to kill Xavier if Darius doesn't do what he wants him to do, because Lance and Darius were trying to get them away from Lionel. But yeah, a lot happened. Overall, I gave this book a 5-star. I think this is the first 5-star of the series. I really enjoyed it. I like how it seems to be ramping up a little. I'm glad that Tori and Darcy were able to figure out what their order form is, and also how even though when Lionel wanted them to forget what the heck they saw, they were able to prevent them from forgetting, or themselves from forgetting. I'm curious to know what the consequences will be if they start telling people that they do know what happened when they were with Lionel and all of that weird cult things. Also, I hope that Tori and Darius' relationship gets somewhere. I also like Darcy and Lance's relationship so far. I'm curious to see what will happen with that. I do know that you're supposed to stop after book 3 and read like the other book series, Ruthless Boys, but I don't know if I'll do that, or I'll just look up what I'm supposed to know before moving on to the other books, and maybe I'll read the Ruthless Boys later or down the road, or I'll just read them without really taking notes. I'll just, read for my own pleasure. And next time, however, I will be talking about the Kingdom of the Wicked series, so look forward to that one. If you want to see more videos like this one, there's a bunch of playlists down in the description as well. If you like this video, then please leave a like. If you want to see more videos from me, then please subscribe. And until next time, bye friends.